And we're live, guys. Welcome to another episode of Bark Talk with Bart. Here's my good friend Charlie. I want to welcome you on today's episode. We are going to talk about motivation, and the thing that we are going to talk about is that um, your have absolutely zero control over motivation. You're not in charge on the motivation. So a very sensitive topic for some trainers out there. Um, so yeah, let's dive into it. You know the rules. Leave me any comments or questions below. Make sure you add Ecamm Live to your trusted apps in Facebook. Again, we are not using Facebook, but if you're commenting under in the comment section on our Facebook Live video, we will see it here in our broadcasting app, and we can add that to our broadcast just like Ken did because he's watching. Hey, I want to welcome Ken. Thank you so much for being here. So let's go to motivation. So you're not in charge of what motivates your dog. And the reason why is because your dog only knows what motivates him. And that is very specific. And the reason that that is specific is because we cannot change the genetic makeup of the dog. So the reason why um, each dog is different is because he's genetically different, and what motivates one dog is chasing, and what motivates the other dog is biting, and what motivates the other dog is sniffing around. And then for some lab dogs, motivation is just laying on the lap of um, you know uh, the owner. um, so what's important is that when we look at our dogs, that we know that he is a genetically unique, animal. He might have other breed friends, but one German Shepherd is not the other. One Yorkie is not the other. And it doesn't mean that if we have one German Shepherd that really likes biting, that the other German Shepherd likes biting as well. Some German Shepherds like tracking more or using their nose more, and other German Shepherds like showing off their coat and showing off how pretty they are. So the genetic lines, the genetic makeup is also going to determine, what motivates what motivates that particular dog. Is that dog, very touch motivated? He likes to cuddle, or is he very visual motivated because he likes to chase stuff? Um, and all these different things are going to eventually determine what we as a handler can do to give this dog a good feeling and start training. So let's go to the other slide here. Um, so the genetic makeup of the dog is unique. So the most important thing here is that we also accept what is genetically there. A lot of people that come here in my training club, well, they eventually um, are very disappointed in their dog because they're looking at a particular other dog, and that particular other dog is doing a little bit better than their dog. Guess I can't do this. because the dog of their friends is biting the sleeve, with a lot of motivation and a lot of intensity, and then their dog, they take it to a Schutzen club, and he looks at the sleeve, and he looks at the helper, and he looks at maybe the little rag that is flying over the ground, and he says, yep, no, yeah, that really doesn't interest me. But what interests me is like, hey, there's a lot of smells here, and I'm going to check those out. Yeah. So some dogs are genetically not as drivey as others, and by drivey, I mean not going completely bananas, but showing intensity and motivation in a particular task. For instance, biting, chasing, sniffing, barking, cuddling. There's a lot of innate behaviors out there that the dogs will display, and that collection of innate behaviors is something that um, your dog's unique in. So those unique behaviors is what makes up, is part of that genetic buildup of the dog. And for us, in order to to do something with those innate behaviors, we need to really understand what reinforces them. So, hey, why is this doggy doing particular things? Why is this dog chasing stuff? Why is this dog barking? Why is this dog biting? So the reason why is because he really likes it, and maybe barking is extremely reinforcing for him. Biting into your pillows might be very reinforcing for him. So if you then come with a ball and he says, hey, let's chase ball, but he's not interested in chasing the ball, he's really interested in ripping things apart, that ball ain't going to do much for him. So we as humans, we are not really deciding what is reinforcing for the dog, and that is a particular very difficult concept for a lot of people to accept and understand, because they want to do the agility with their dog, they want to do the tracking with the dog, they want to take their dogs to Schutzen Club, and they want to make particular Pooch Fluffy into a personal protection dog. But Pooch Fluffy says, hey, I'm not really genetically made for all this like crazy fight and bite and drive work. I am made to show off my pretty hair and pretty colors and pretty coat in the show ring. And so when these people, you as a owner, have bought Pooch Fluffy for Schutzend, but you actually had a dog that is motivated just for show, you have a problem. And so pushing these dogs into an activity that they don't like, playing tug, for instance, with a dog that actually doesn't like playing tug, that means that what you're doing is not really motivating for them, and is also not reinforcing them. It's reinforcing for them. So using a tug game, for instance, with a dog that doesn't like to tug, as a reward for obedience, doesn't make sense. You're only going to shoot yourself in the foot, because that reward for him is not reinforcing. And I see many trainers out there that use always the same type of rewards. Each dog should be able to play with a ball, and this is the way we play with a ball. Each dog, loves tugging. Well, there's a lot of dogs that don't like tugging. So again, using the games that we think the dog is going to like as a reward for a behavior, for obedience or whatever behavior it is that you ask, is not is not reinforcing for the dog, and we have the idea that it is. And what happens when we do that is that eventually motivation for working with you is going to be diminished. Because working with you, entails playing a game, a human game that the human really likes, but the dog doesn't, and hence that interaction for the dog with you is not reinforcing again. And then dogs often check out and do stuff that is reinforcing for them, maybe sniffing or barking or chasing and playing with other dogs. Um, so again, um, you are not the one who is going to decide what is rewarding for a dog. And in my From Tyrant to Teacher um, workshop, I always talk about, the dog needs to work for anything that motivates him, and we have a very difficult task, ahead of us to determine, what motivates the dog, because those motivations, those motivators for these dogs, those are the ones that we can turn into rewards. Luckily, food, is a primary reinforcer where if we deprive the dog from food, eventually the dog will be motivated to eat. But all the other motivators, that's pretty difficult to do so. Um, so so having said that, um, how do we do this? How do we um, play a game that is fun for the dog and not just for us? Because um, you can create or think of a fantastic game. You said, okay, I got it. This is the game we're going to play. For instance, two ball. This is my favorite game, and I teach it to all my students. But my two ball game might actually not be fun for your dog, because some dogs, they don't like this two ball game. They don't like the chase. I often talk about that the acquisition phase for most dogs is the most fun thing to do. And acquisition phase, is the chase, is chasing something, whether it's food, the human, another dog, a chicken, prey, his ball. The behavior of chasing is often, super motivating and satisfying for the dog. So what if we have a dog that doesn't like to chase at all? The only thing that he does is he wants to possess stuff. He wants to acquire stuff. Once he has it, yes, he might have chased it, but then keeping it with him and biting it and chewing it, that might actually be more motivating for the dog. So what are we doing, with those type of dogs? Well, we need to start developing behaviors that are, or rewards that are satisfying. And so if you see that your dog loves biting and chewing stuff, so rather than playing two ball game, playing a tug of war with a very soft and chewable tug toy, might be the solution there. So I had a dog like that, and a puppy like that did not want to chase things at all. And what I did is I took a plastic bottle in and got a rope on it, and so that I just let the dog crunch the plastic bottle for a couple of seconds, when he did something great, and he absolutely loved it. We can develop tug games. We can, reward with a tug toy. We can reward with a bite pillow. We can do a lot of stuff. What if the dog doesn't like to chase balls, but he likes to chase food? If he's very motivated for food, what can we do in that situation? Well, toss your food around. He does something great, so throw your food in different directions, and use my different markers. Yes, avaya, and bite. Bite means he can grab the food out of your hand when you hold it high, and yes, he can chase the food when you throw it forward, and Avaya, he can chase the food when you throw it backwards if he doesn't like um, your ball game. Again, one of the reasons, one of the things here, that we need to learn is finding out what is rewarding for the dog, because again, your game might not be his game. The other thing is, playing is not just a game. I see so many people think that playing with their dog for them is a game, and it's all fun and games. However, that that is not true. Yeah, playing a game is not just a fun game. I hope that the interaction, and our goal is that the interaction is as fun as possible for the dog and that he actually really likes it. But playing is communicating. Yeah, like we see here on this photo again. We see my little guy here on the left, and Popsy on the right, and they are playing a game, and their game is actually fun. Although, when you see little guy's eyes, you might say, "Holy shit, this game might not be fun after all." But that game is more to them. Yes, they're having fun and they're playing games, but the thing they're doing with that game or in that game is communicating. And that is super important, is that everybody understand that when you throw a ball, when you throw a piece of food, when you interact with a dog, when you touch him on the side and you want to goof off, is that it's more than just goofing off. It's more than just playing a game. It's absolutely communicating. And one of the things that we want to create is that the dog is motivated to interact with us. And so key in that communication is that we're very consistent in it, and that we're not swinging from left to right, and that we're not putting a lot of variables in there in our body language, but that for in body language for game A is always that, because that's what it is with dogs. So I have this statement, and it says, "No one has the right to consume the happiness of his dog on the training field without producing it." I wrote this about 12 years ago. And the reason why I wrote this is that I see a lot of people pushing their dogs into a sport or into an activity that the dog is absolutely not happy in. And so they're forcing their dog to do work that is actually not designed for the dog, or even when it's designed for the dog, work that the dog does not enjoy. And I believe that is faulty, and if we do so, that is going to jeopardize the relationship and the performance of your training, and the way the dog perceives that interaction with you. If the interactions and the activities that he does with you are not reinforcing for them. And so thinking about this, when we talk about motivation, I want you to think about your situation, your dog, the games that you play, and then if you see that your dog is producing a particular behavior, for instance, in two ball, he keeps the ball in the mouth. So what does that say to you? That, hey, this dog really likes to possess. Yeah. Does that mean that we can change that? Does that mean that slowly but surely we can't enjoy, or we can't teach the dog to enjoy particular activity? No, we can actually do this. It's the same with chess. As a kid, I hated chess, and the reason why is I lost all the time, and I hate losing. I'm very competitive, and I hate losing. So my grandfather, fortunately, took the time to teach me chess. And the way he taught that was by playing, kind of different games on the chess board to teach me the rules of chess and showed me what each individual piece could do. And as a little kid, I would take a chess board, and I'd take the horse, and I would literally make the horse jump. I was 4 or 5 years old when I learned chess, and I had a blast. But playing chess, as a game, I had no idea. It was too complex for me, and I didn't enjoy it. Now I love chess. I really, I'm a big chess player. Absolutely love it. With dogs, it's the same way. Um, Slowly but surely, we can teach the dog our silly little games. We can teach the dog bite work. For instance, I have transformed a lot of dogs here, in my training center, that in the beginning had no desire of chasing a rag or a ball, but then by incorporating, different games, with food and with other items, eventually the dog really enjoyed chasing, and then I transferred that to different objects. Um, I had a dog here that loves the stuffed animals, and he wouldn't bite anything else. Just this stuffed little teddy bear. He would grab it, and the owners bought a lot of teddy bears because that's what he loved to bite and destroy. So I actually used that teddy bear in my bite work, and then slowly but surely, he was so addicting to playing that biting game with me with his teddy bear that I was able to switch him, to other other bite stuff like formal bite training, materials, and eventually this dog loved biting. He's on the suit. He's a ring dog, and great things happened with the dog. But in the beginning, we need to really understand what drives this dog, what pushes this dog, what motivates the dog. And then when we truly understand what motivates the dog, we need to capitalize that, and then we need to think about how can we create games that gives him similar satisfaction, but that leads us to what we eventually want. And that is how you create motivation, not by shoving your silly little games onto the dog's plate and then demanding demanding for him that he's just going to do that. Yeah? Because I think that is the wrong thing to do. So in short, we need to think about our genetics. What do we have? What's the package that we have? And we can look at the family, we can look at the lineage, and we can look at all the antecedents in that lineage, and then see, hey, this comes from a family of Schutzen dogs, these come from a family of hunting dogs, these are a family of search and rescue dogs, and then we have a pretty educated guess or a chance that our dogs are going to enjoy similar activities, as a lot of behaviors are going to be innate that are used in those activities. So then we need to observe the dog's innate behavior. So as a puppy, or when you just first get the dog, you adopt the dog, 2 years old, you have no idea what the antecedents were. You're going to start observing, what are the dog's kind of innate behaviors. You throw a ball in there, you give him a tug toy. Does he chew up a towel? Does he tear it apart? Does he chase things around the yard? Does he chase bicycles? What does he do? Is it a chaser? Is it a biter? Is it a chewer? Is it a destroyer? Is he just laying down, or is he a food whore? So all these innate behaviors, we need to make an inventory of them, and then slowly but surely, we kind of know what makes him tick. And then when we have that, now we need to steer those innate behaviors, and by steering, meaning understanding why he does that and why it's so reinforcing for them. And then we can, take that innate behavior, and it's like a river. We can't completely turn the river backwards. We can make a river run upstream by itself. It's not going to happen. But what we can do is we can change the course of the river. We can dig into the ground. We can put rocks in it. We can put a dam in it. We can manipulate the flow of water by understanding innate behavior and understanding the reinforcement of them. And once we have that, then I think we can develop rewards games, a reward system that is rewarding for the dog, and that will contribute to a very positive feeling that your dog has in the relationship, because now it's you and what you do with him that makes him feel good. So I hope this helps. It's one of my favorite topics, motivation. That is what I do all the time. I always look into the dog, and every dog that I get here, my board and trains, they're all trained differently. If I look at the three puppies, even the siblings, the way I do things with them is slightly different. There's a lot of things that are similar because they're from the same litter, so they carry the same antecedents, but they also have their individual drivers. And I take these drivers and motivators, and I implement those into my training session and training program, and that is something that we all should do. So I'm going to look here at Charlie and see if he has any questions or anything that he would like to add to our group here.
So, I think you hit it very well, and we tell people this all the time. We never compare our dogs to anybody else's, um, and you get your dog to be the best that he can possibly be.
Yep.
And motivation can be different. I mean, one day your dog may be motivated for food, one day maybe for ball, maybe one day for bites.
Yes.
So that kind of changes, in understanding that and kind of seeing where that fine line is key, and especially with the training scenario you're going to approach, finding the right motivator to be able to reward the dog accurately so that he retains what just happened.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so in that collection of motivators for him, things that he does innate, things that he likes innate. Um, so it is indeed a fact that today he might actually not be interested in playing ball, and he might be more food motivated because he's actually feeling a little bit hungry, and maybe he's a little bit tired, and hence he doesn't want to chase stuff. So if you plan a session that you're going to play tug of war with the dog, you're playing to two-ball game, and you come onto the field, but the dog is a little bit tired. He might be sore in his leg from previous activity, then that motivator is probably not the right choice, to have a very successful training session, and food or any other activity might be a better idea. Um, so think about that. Yeah, so we have food, we have ball games, we have whatever the dog motivates. Pets on the back, scratches on the belly, and sometimes even find stuff. Go hide his ball as a reward, or go hide some food as a reward. There's other behaviors. If he likes to find stuff, those behaviors can be used as rewards, as motivators. So, and that can indeed change on a daily basis or weekly basis. However, the dog has this innate collection of particular motivators.
And the last thing that I wanted to bring up was when you were talking about understanding your dog and what it's capable of doing genetically, and just knowing your dog. For example, if with either one of my dogs, if I wanted them to jump up onto this roof, and I tried training that, and I just started yelling at them, jump up on the roof, get up on the roof, pushing the dog too far into something they're not happy doing could actually do a lot of damage that could possibly be um, close to irreparable.
Yeah, major damage. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. If for instance, if your dog likes to jump, and he's a jumper, because he jumps on he jumps on your your 2 3 stairs on your front porch, but now you're asking him to jump over a 10 feet palisade, which he physically is impossible to do. But you force him to do that, that can be absolutely catastrophic. The other thing is when we have a dog that likes to jump, that people are saying, okay, this is a great dog for agility. Yeah, so they're putting their dog into agility, and the dog has jumped over 1.5 feet all the time, and now they are trying to lump it, and they're going to force their dog to jump over a 3 foot jump, and the dog crashes into that jump all the time, and you forcing that dog to do that. Well, that activity that you introduced him there is not motivating, and he is going to relate that activity with interacting with you, and hence doing that with you is not fun. Um, and jumping over that particular obstacle is not fun, but jumping on the chair at home or jumping on that little step is. So very detrimental if we lump that motivation. So if we say, hey, my dog's a biter, I love to bite him, but then we bring him into bite sports, and the first thing that we do is we put him on a full suit, and it's hard, and the dog is like, holy crap, this is absolutely not fun, because the jacket weighs 20 pounds or whatever it weighs. Those can be detrimental lumping steps that you take, because your dog showed a lot of initial motivation in that particular behavior.
Yeah, and I didn't see if we had any questions.
So again, guys, leave me any questions here. I see no questions here, no comments. Like I said, we are not on Facebook, so you do need to accept Ecamm Live, add it to your trusted apps, and then when you type something in Facebook, it will pop up here on my screen. If you guys are not doing that, then I will not be able to see your questions until the live feed is over and I rewatch it in Facebook myself. So I am doing something fun, by the way. I'm investing in another piece of equipment where I will be able to get live calls here on our Facebook. So you'll be able to call a number, and you'll be in our live show and can ask a live question here. Something that I'm looking into, and I'm working on that. So that's in the near future. That's coming. So. All for the good, and to increase the interaction here and the life experience here on Facebook. Okay, any other questions that you have, Charlie?
No, I think we're pretty good. That was a really good topic today.
Okay, great. So, guys, again, thank you for watching. Leave me a thumbs up, a like, a love. Give a big shout out here to my friend Charlie. Leave me any questions or comments below, and Charlie and I will see you in the next video. For now, thank you for watching. You keep training, and bye bye.